Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our Rutgers Open House YouTube live stream. We are super excited to have you all back with us today. I would just like to extend another thank you to President Jonathan Holloway for an amazing Q&A session. We are truly so lucky to have President Holloway as the head of this institution that at the end of the day, we all love to consider our home. So thank you again, President Holloway. It was so much fun. But for this session, for the next 45 minutes or so, we will be covering dining and housing. These are two very fun and important topics, so we want to get it all covered for you. And again, just to remind you all before we start, click on the YouTube link so you make sure you're viewing this on YouTube so we can interact with you all in the live chat. Before we do jump in, Sam and I are going to take some time to introduce ourselves. I was on just a short while ago, but I will introduce myself again in case anybody is new here. So hi, my name is Nick. I am a sophomore in the School of Arts and Sciences in the School of Communication and Information, majoring in journalism and media studies with a minor in education. I'm from Clifton, New Jersey, which is 45 minutes north of New Brunswick, but I love calling Rutgers my new home. On campus, I am involved in RHA, which is the Rutgers Housing Association. It is a student-run student government for residence halls. We like to plan really fun events and foster communities within residence halls. And in my free time, I tutor kindergarten students with virtual learning. And I am so excited to be here virtually with you all again today. I'm going to hand things over to Sam and you can introduce himself and take it away.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much, Nick. This is my first session of the day. So whether you're brand new to the open house right now, or you've been around to some of the other sessions, I might be a new face here on the screen. My name is Sam. I'm a junior here at Rutgers, and I'm from Eatontown, New Jersey, which is down by the Jersey Shore in Monmouth County. I'm an exercise science major in the School of Environmental and Biological Sciences. I'm a psychology minor in the School of Arts and Sciences. And I'm also part of the very first class of our 8-year medical program between the Rutgers Honors College and the Robert Wood Johnson Medical School. So on campus, I lived on the College Avenue campus for my first 2 years. I've been involved in a ton of things. I do research on campus. I'm involved in Greek life. I've played some intramural sports, and I work for our undergraduate admissions department as a Scarlet ambassador. So that's a little bit about me and my background. But what I'm here to talk about with you all today, and as is Nick, is housing and dining. And we're going to kick it off with definitely what is one of my favorite subjects to talk about in general, which is dining and food. So when we consider Rutgers dining services and serving our 40,000 undergraduate students, it becomes a very important topic. We have 4 different dining halls located across our 5 campuses. If you've been to a few of the sessions today, you may have heard a little bit about our self-sufficient campus system. That's basically just the idea that all 5 of our campuses have their own residence halls, their own dining halls, their own academic buildings, their own sports facilities, their own gyms, all of that stuff. So whatever you can find on one campus, you can find on another, and that is absolutely true with our dining halls as well. So like I said, we do have our 4 dining halls, one on our College Avenue campus, one on our Bush campus, one on our Livingston campus, and one that is shared by our Cook and Douglas campuses. So Rutgers Dining operates on what we call a meal swipe system. So basically you select how many meals you'd like to have for the semester. All students are required during their first year, if they're living on campus, to have a 210 meal swipe plan. That comes out to 2 meals per day. However, you are allowed to raise that number if you're someone who likes to eat a lot. You think you'll find yourself in the dining hall more often. And then after that first semester, if you use more or use less, you can always change that number around as well. So 1 meal swipe grants you access to one of our dining halls. We have all you can eat buffet style dining halls. So basically like any food option that you could want will be in one of the dining halls. We have our standard kind of setup, a salad bar, a sandwich station, pasta line, really all of your basics. And then we have things that are served uniquely every single day. The food menu at each of our 4 different dining halls changes every single day. So you can use our good old trusty Rutgers app to keep track of what is being served at each dining hall. And then you can go over to find your favorite and go eat there as a Rutgers student. So my personal favorite dining hall that I like to visit all the time it just has to be the Broward Commons on the College Avenue campus. I lived on College Avenue for my first 2 years, which meant that I spent a lot of time in the Broward dining hall. And to me, it is simply the best dining hall. The food there is great. They have a 16 flavor ice cream bar where you can go and try different flavors of ice cream every single day. They have like 30 different types of cereal that just lines one of the walls. I think personally that can't be beat. But that's my favorite dining hall. Nick, I want to hand it back over to you and ask if you want to talk a little bit about your favorite dining hall on our campuses.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to say that my favorite dining hall is Nielsen Dining Hall, shared between the Cook and Douglas campuses. My first year residence hall was dangerously close to the dining hall, so I was in there all the time, a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. One thing that I love about Nielsen is that they have a smoothie bar, so we would go and grab all the little smoothies and taste test them because they would change every single day. It was always so much fun. I also love the waffle station that you can find in any dining hall, but particularly at Nielsen, they always have chicken nuggets and waffles, and I mentioned it earlier, but I love chicken and waffles. And we would always be experimenting with the waffle station. It was always so much fun. And the pizza is also really good at Nielsen as well. I love the vibe in there. It's always nice and quiet, and you can always study in there as well. So I'm gonna have to say Nielsen is my favorite, but I might just be biased just like you because that's right where I lived. So
Absolutely. Our dining halls, they open up early in the morning for breakfast. They stay up until 9 p.m. every single weekday and stay up until 8 p.m. on the weekends. So the dining halls are really open all day. As I said before, one of those meal swipes grant you access to the dining hall. And there's no set meal periods or anything like that at Rutgers. If you really wanted, you could just go swipe in the morning, find a table in one of the dining halls, bring some homework or something, and just eat one or two meals without ever leaving the dining hall. And you can do that all in one meal swipe. So that's definitely an option. I would not be embarrassed to do so if you wanted to just sit in the dining hall and get some work done. It's a great option for you. The dining halls are also super accommodating to students who have special dietary needs as well, between different vegetarian options, kosher options, and gluten-free options. All of those exist. If you have any sort of religious or allergy restriction, you can work with the dining hall staff to get specific food that you can eat. It is made specially for you to come pick up. And that is a really great option for any student with any of those religious or dietary restrictions. But let's say that you're coming home from class late at night, you're studying in the library, you're a little hungry, but we're after that 9 p.m. hour when the dining hall is already closed. Luckily for you, there are still options available that you can use your meal swipes and use your meal plans for, and those are our takeout options. So every single weekday, Monday through Friday, our dining halls stay open until midnight to serve specifically takeout options. Those takeout options are a little bit more specific than what you'd find in the dining halls, whereas inside the dining hall has all these different options. The takeout nights have different specific nights. So it could be like wing night, sub night, burrito night, and those are also offered on all 4 dining halls, and those options change every single day. So like I said before, how you could travel around to any of the dining halls. If there's if it's wing night over on Bush campus and you're feeling some wings that night, you can definitely travel over there. I got to shout out Wing Night as my absolute favorite. Maybe my second favorite would be Bite Night at the Brower Dining Hall. Bite Night is basically this takeout night where you can definitely only eat it like once every 3 weeks because it's just based around like fried food, mozzarella sticks, mac and cheese bites, jalapeno poppers. It is awesome. But maybe only like once a month. That would be my best recommendation. But that's definitely my favorite takeout option. Nick, I want to ask you again and see if you had a favorite takeout option that you
yes, totally. In my first year, every single Monday night, my friends and I would get Monday night, late night burger night at Nielsen Dining Hall. And it was so much fun. It'd be like 11 p.m. We would go for their chicken sandwiches and burgers and then just eat them in the floor of my dorm room. And I absolutely loved it. I miss it so much.
Fantastic. So you might be thinking, that's awesome. I can use my my meal swipes to get into the dining hall. I can use my meal swipes to get these takeout options. How far can my meal swipes take me? Well, the answer to that is so much further. Your meal swipes can be used beyond the dining halls as well. We have various cafe options that pop up around our different campuses. For example, like the Cook Cafe and the Cook Student Center, the Rock Cafe and the Livingston Student Center. And the way that those work is they'll put like a dollar value on your meal swipe. So let's say one meal swipe can get you $10 worth of food. You can go into a Rutgers cafe on one of our campuses and get $10 worth of food and use a meal swipe for that as well. So even beyond, just eating in the dining hall, you can use those meal swipes at these cafes as well. But even further than that, we also have food trucks that drive around to all of our campuses. So there's 3 of them that are currently active or will likely return to service come the fall. Those are the 3 Chili's taco truck the Night Wagon, which is kind of like serves like grill type food, and my personal favorite, which is the Starbucks truck. We have one of the only Starbucks food trucks in the entire country, and it drives around. So you can use your meal swipe in a very similar way to those cafes where they put a dollar value on it and get food out of these food trucks. I did also get to try the Three Chili's taco truck last spring, and it was incredible. So I'm excited for that to make a comeback and to be able to go and visit it there. So you might be thinking, that's awesome. I can use my meal swipes in the dining hall. I can use my meal swipes for takeout. I can use my meal swipes at the food trucks, at the cafes. That's got to be all right. No, absolutely not. You can use your meal swipes at two other really important locations, both on our Livingston campus. One of those is Kilmer's Market, which is a supermarket located on our Livingston campus. Same thing, they serve food as well there. So you can use your meal swipe to either get groceries or even to get some of the food that they serve and make in the supermarket. And then also my other favorite place to use my meal swipes would have to be Henry's Diner. So Henry's Diner is a full service New Jersey style diner. At Rutgers, we are the State University of New Jersey, and New Jersey is the diner capital of the world. So it only makes sense that we would have a full service New Jersey style diner on our campus, and you can go in there, get a nice home cooked diner meal, and use your meal swipes for that as well. I think that I'm done with the different places that you can use your meal swipes, but I hope that was pretty satisfactory for places that you could use these options. But even further in terms of dining, another thing that I want to shout out is some of the theme nights that we hold in our dining halls every semester. So the dining hall staff loves these theme nights. They go all out. They'll decorate the dining hall. They will cook food specific to the event. And just to go through some of them, for example, we have King Neptune Night, which is a completely seafood-based event. So if you've ever dreamed of eating like crab and lobster and various fish in the dining hall, like at your university dining hall, you can do that during King Neptune Night. This is an extremely popular event. People will bring their parents, their friends, their cousins, their third aunts, anyone to King Neptune Night to eat at this very special night in the dining hall. Another thing that I should note is with a meal plan, you also get guest swipes. So you're provided 10 guest swipes for the semester when you have a meal plan. So if you do have a friend, a family member, anyone like that who also wants to experience one of the dining halls, they can do so as well on your guest swipe. So we have King Neptune Night, which I mentioned was seafood based. We have midnight breakfast. So right before finals, they actually reopen all the dining halls at midnight and they serve breakfast to all the students. That's also another really popular event. They like to go all out on holidays too. So we have a Mardi Gras event, which happens around that time of year, a Thanksgiving feast in the dining halls, a Christmas themed event, as well as a Valentine's Day themed event, which is all based around chocolate. So whether you're going to like share that night with like a significant other, or you just want to go like eat your feelings away, you can do that at the chocolate themed night in the dining halls. And then finally, I want to shout out my personal favorite, which is Boardwalk Bonanza. That happens every April. That really hits close to home for me because I'm from down by the Jersey Shore. So for the Boardwalk Bonanza event, they serve a bunch of different food that you would typically associate with the Jersey Shore, whether that be like funnel cakes, corn dogs, cotton candy, kettle corn, really all of that served in the dining hall. They bring in like inflatables and games. They hold raffles. It's truly a fantastic event that I love. But Nick, I want to hand it back over to you again and ask if you have one of these specific theme nights at the dining halls that you really love.
Yes, of course. My favorite is hands down midnight breakfast. I love midnight breakfast. It is so much fun. There's just something about lining up for breakfast at 11 p.m. that it was so much fun. I will do anything for the Rutgers breakfast potatoes. They are the love of my life. And I will eat them all the time. And the fact that like you see like the pizza station turn into like a pancake station, so much fun. But just there's also a lot of like mini theme nights that happen throughout the year that I loved that you don't even know are happening. Like I remember walking into Nielsen dining hall one time and it was watermelon night and they had watermelon burgers and watermelon themed foods. There was honey night where like a bunch of the things in the dining hall were like honey flavored. There's just weird things happening at all times. I'm always so excited to see like what's happening at our family dinners at the dining halls. I love it so much.
That reminds me. I remember watermelon night or watermelon day in Nielsen Dining Hall. I actually came out of that with a shirt that just has a giant picture of watermelon on it. I'm
Mhm.
not sure what that shirt is today, but that's just one of the strange things you may find walking into the dining halls. The last point that I want to touch on with dining, if you're not already satisfied by all the like various different options that I've provided already in terms of on-campus dining, another really important thing to keep in mind is that we are located in the city of New Brunswick. So that means there are plenty of off-campus eateries as well. So whether you're looking for like fine dining, a sit-down restaurant, or even just fast food, you can find that all both on George Street, which is adjacent to our College Avenue campus, or Easton Avenue, which runs parallel to our College Avenue campus, as well as in the neighboring towns of Piscataway and Somerset. You can really find a variety of off-campus eating options as well. One important thing that you can use at some of those locations is what's known as RU Express. So RU Express is a specific kind of Rutgers debit card. When you enroll at Rutgers and you start at the university, you get a physical Rutgers ID. You can load money onto that much like you would a debit card. And then you can use that both on campus at some of the eateries that I've already mentioned, as well as some of like our partnering locations off campus as well. So that's really a great option if you think that that would work for you. So whenever we get the question of whether or not the food is good at Rutgers, the answer to that just has to be yes. Based on just the sheer variety of options that we have between our dining halls, the cafes, the food trucks, the off-campus eateries, you are bound to find something that you will really enjoy and also have the chance to try some new food as well. So my answer to that question has got to be a resounding yes. Anyway, I just want to take a quick look in the chat to see if there's any questions about dining that we can answer before we transition over to housing.
There's one that says, can you have a meal plan even if you don't have a housing plan? Absolutely. If you live off campus, you won't technically have to pay for housing. You'll pay for off campus housing and your landlord or whatever, but you can totally still have a meal plan. Meal plans do vary whether you live in like an apartment style housing, which we'll get to, or traditional style. If you live off campus, you can totally have a meal plan that is fit for you.
I see another question here. Is the freshman 15 real? So if you don't know what the freshman 15 is, it's kind of like this stereotypical myth that like you'll come to college and you'll gain 15 pounds in your freshman year because of all the food options that are there. Obviously, that is highly specific as to your like lifestyle, but a really good point against the freshman 15 is just like the sheer amount of walking that you're going to do on a college campus. Even though we have, of course, our fantastic Rutgers bus system, you're still going to end up walking around a good amount. So I don't think that that's a thing that happens to too many people. But, I can never say for sure.
It's not real. Don't worry about it. If you don't let it happen, it won't happen. Don't worry about that. I just want to say one thing and touch upon like your question on whether is Rutgers food good. Like you said, the answer just has to be yes. There's so many options. I love the Rutgers food. I miss eating at a dining hall and the Rutgers food. But just like one thing that I always found funny is whenever my parents would like come to pick me up or drop me off like on campus, they would want to eat in the dining hall with me. They'd be like, can we go eat at your dining hall? And like, I eat there every single day. So I'm like, oh, we can't like have a home cooked meal. And they're like, no, like, let's eat at your dining hall. Like my parents could not wait to eat at Nielsen. The food is it's just really, really good. Like I would genuinely prefer dining hall food sometimes over like a home cooked meal from my mom. Don't tell her I said that, but it's true.
Nice. And then just one last question that I can address here. I just see, can you explain what meal swipes are? Just to reiterate, a meal swipe is more or less just like the equivalent of like your ticket into the dining hall. Like one meal swipe gets you like one entry into the dining hall for as long as you choose to stay. And then also there's the alternative option with meal swipes that I discussed, where you can actually use it as like a form of currency at some of our other cafes and locations on campus as well. Anyway, though, that is a pretty in-depth view of dining at our Rutgers campus. If you have more questions about dining, we'll make sure that we address them in the chat. But for now, in the interest of time, I do want to transition over talking a little bit about housing and living on campus as a Rutgers student. So Nick, I'm going to hand that over to you and let you take that away.
Yes, of course. And yeah, don't feel free to keep asking questions about dining. We have amazing Scarlet ambassadors in the chat that are helping answer a bunch of questions, and we will get to them a little bit later. But along with dining, we do have housing. It's very important. A lot of students want to live on campus. First things first, it is not necessary to live on campus. We do not force you to, but in your freshman and sophomore year, we can guarantee you housing on campus if you so choose to live here. So we have three different styles of housing here on campus. We have traditional, suite, and apartment style. Traditional is kind of what I'm in right now. It is 2 beds, 2 desks, 2 dressers, 2 closet, and a micro fridge. So if you see, I have 1 bed behind me there, 1 bed here. I got 2 closets and I have a dresser. My other dresser stuffed in my closet. I currently do not have a roommate, but that is due to like this semester and COVID stuff. But this is what a typical traditional residence hall dorm room looks like. Then beyond this, we have suite style apartments. So suite style is 3 of these. So there's 3 traditional double rooms, and then a personal bathroom that you have to clean, and a little common room that you also have to clean. That's for you and your suite mates. And then beyond that, we have apartment style. So apartment style is all of that mentioned. Sometimes apartments may have like single bedrooms, so you might not have to share a room, and you also get your own kitchen. All residence halls do have shared kitchens if you do prefer to, if you want to cook your own food, but only apartment style housing has their own kitchen. So every single residence hall also has laundry facilities in the building. Laundry is $150 a wash and dry, and you can use your Rutgers app. You can pay with your ID, and it'll actually give you a text message letting you know when your wash is finished. And you can also see every single washer and dryer and what's available and how long each and every one of them have. Every single residence hall also has RAs, which are resident assistants. They are by floor, and in apartments, they have apartment assistants. These are like your parent away from home almost. They are there to help guide you in your freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, and they'll plan really fun events in your floor, in your hall, foster communities, and just help you with absolutely anything. So if you don't know when the move out date is, or if you don't know what you have to do before leaving for spring break, your RA is going to be there to help you, as well as just enforce some general residence halls rules and things like that. So about half of students on campus do live in our residence halls, but again, it is not mandatory. But if you do want to live on campus and are interested in it, you have a lot of choice. You have a lot of leeway in what you want to do when you live on campus. When you apply for housing as a freshman, you don't actually get to pick your specific room and dorm room building. However, you do get to specify what campus you'd like to live on. So when you fill out your housing application, you can rank all 5 of our campuses based on what you like the best. So if you were really fond of the College Avenue campus and you want to live here, you can rank College Avenue campus as your number 1. For me, I really loved the Douglas campus when I visited. So I was able to rank Douglas campus and I was placed over there, and that was where I lived. So another thing that a lot of people want to know is whether or not, like, who are your roommates, how you can live with your roommates. So there are a couple of different ways to find roommates before moving onto campus. First things first, you can go in random, which is never actually truly random. In the housing application, you fill out this little, almost like a get to know me type survey thing that you can say like, how late do you go to bed? How clean are you? How social do you want to be? Like, do you want to have guests over? You fill that out, and then Rutgers will match you with someone that they think is best fit for you. And usually a lot of the times you end up making a really cool friend going in random. In my residence hall first year, a lot of my friends did go in random with their roommates, and they're best friends now, and they absolutely love each other and are continuing to live together. If you have someone in mind that you would like to live with on the housing application, you can also note that you want to live with that person by putting in their Rutgers ID. So if Sam and I really want to room together, I put Sam's RUID on my application, Sam puts my RUID on his application, and then we're roommates. And then if you want to find a little bit more, if you want to choose someone new, that maybe you don't know someone, but you don't want to go in random, there's always that in between. So we have Facebook group chats that you can join. I believe you guys are all probably the class of 2025 or 2026, something like that right now. So when you get into Rutgers, you will be put into, or you can join one of those Facebook groups, and everybody's going to be like, hi, my name is Nick, and I like this, this, and this. And you can find your roommate that way and make really cool friends. That is personally how I found my roommate, and we are now really close friends, and I miss living with him a lot. But that is really the housing process and how you find roommates and things like that. As Sam mentioned earlier, and how we have been mentioning throughout our sessions today, you do not have to live on any particular campus that your classes reside on. Like I said before, we want you to rank the campuses the way you love them the best. We do have our trusty Rutgers bus system to get you wherever you need to go, so you do not need to live on the campus where the majority of your classes are. That is pretty much a lot about housing. I did see a question in the chat about microwave and fridges. Yes, we do have a micro fridge. It's a microwave fridge combination. It comes in every single traditional residence hall. I do not have one in my room because I live in an apartment, so I have a fully functioning kitchen in my hallway. So I couldn't show you one here, but yes, they all have them. There's another question, are mattresses comfortable? I think my bed is really, really comfortable. You get a mattress pad, mattress topper, your bed is super comfortable. But Sam, do you want to talk about your first year living experience on campus a little bit?
I'd love to. So as a first year student, I lived on the College Avenue campus in the Honors College. It is an absolutely beautiful building. I loved every minute that I got to live and be in that building. In terms of the roommate process, which you discussed, I actually knew who my roommate was going to be coming from home. So obviously we went through the process where I put in his RUID and he put in my RUID, and then we got matched into a room together. I lived up on the 5th floor of the Honors College. It had a beautiful view over the Raritan River, over our College Avenue campus. So I really enjoyed living there during my first year. And then my sophomore year on campus, I was actually able to live in the Sojourner Truth apartments in the yard on our College Avenue campus as well. Another absolutely beautiful housing option. I really enjoyed the apartment experience as well. Obviously, first year residence halls are fantastic for getting to know people on your floor, for meeting new friends when you first start at Rutgers. And they're truly a fantastic experience, and I would recommend it to anybody. But the apartment experience was just as great. It was nice having our own bathrooms. It was nice having a fully functioning kitchen, like you mentioned, as well as like a living area. So I've really enjoyed my experience thus far living on campus, and now I'm looking to move off campus for my senior year.
I could not echo that more. I absolutely loved living in my traditional residence hall in my first year. It was so much fun, and I equally love the apartment life as well. Definitely got to wash my own dishes and cook my own meals now, but it is equally as fun. But touching on something that you mentioned, and it was mentioned in the chat, bathrooms. We did not mention some bathrooms. So in a traditional residence hall, you do have communal bathrooms per floor separated by gender, and there are gender neutral bathrooms in every single one of our residence halls as well. So those bathrooms are cleaned like twice daily. And a lot of people do have this big fear about communal bathrooms, but I'm here to tell you, and hopefully Sam is here to tell you as well, that it is really nothing to worry about at all. They are clean. Everybody in college runs on a completely different schedule. So chances are you are not going to run into too many people or problems or like a clogged up bathroom. There's nowhere to use. Don't worry about that. It's really not going to happen to you. Everybody runs on a different schedule. And if you do run into someone in the bathroom, say hi to them. They're most likely your friends because you live on the exact same floor as them. In a suite, in an apartment style housing, you do get your own bathroom shared between your roommates or suite mates, but you are required to clean them yourself. So it's definitely an added bonus, but it has, its ups and downs and its perks. Again, I have really found a way to be comfortable and love each of the style of housing that I've lived in. And I really have had no problems. I don't know if you can agree with me, Sam. I think it's pretty standard across the board. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. Really everything you said. Nick, I also saw a really good question on the chat that I wanted to pose to you as well. It's like, how do I decide which campus I want to live on?
That is a great question. So I would definitely say through these programs, if you haven't taken one of our virtual tours yet, totally take a virtual tour soon enough. Hopefully campus will be open for you to come walk around and visit. You can use our app that we're currently developing. You could tour campus on your own and come walk around the campuses. Definitely seeing which campus you vibe with the best. I don't know how else to say it, but that really is the best way to say it. When I was visiting Rutgers and I like saw the Douglas campus. It was super quiet, super green and open. And that really gave me the experience that I wanted. I do love the College Avenue campus now. I love the hustle and bustle. So that's why I chose to live here this year. But definitely it's just whatever you feel. A lot of students do like to live where their classes are housed. So I know a lot of business school students do tend to live on the Livingston campus because it is so close. And the Livingston campus is beautiful and it's all for it. But for me, I really loved having that travel between the two campuses. So definitely just whatever you love the best. Like there's no other way to put that than whichever one you connect with the best. Sam, there's a question here about honors housing. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Honors program housing versus honors college housing.
So in terms of the honors college, which is what I have my personal experience in, because I am an honors college student, I lived in the honors college. You as a first year student are required to live in the honors college building. That is actually the only housing requirement that we have on our campuses. If you are a first year student not in the honors college, you do not have to live on campus during your first year. You can commute, you can live off campus, you can do whatever you want. As an honors college student, though, it is a requirement that you do live in the honors college your first year. That's as a way for the honors college to get its community together, for you to meet the other honors college students who you're going to be living with, taking classes with, working with, as part of your experience in the honors college. That being said, even though it is a requirement, it is by no means a curse. The honors college is absolutely beautiful. It looks like a Marriott hotel inside. If you ever get the chance to walk into the honors college, I would highly recommend doing so. So I really enjoyed that experience. Unfortunately, you can only live in the honors college building during your first year, but the perks of like being in the honors college don't end with your first year, because you can also get priority housing in some of the other buildings as an honors college student. So I was able to live in the Sojourner Truth apartments during my sophomore year through honors housing. They have a specific floor in that building specifically for honors college sophomores, which was meant to kind of keep the community together as you move up in your years at Rutgers. There are other options as well, both the Livingston apartments on our Livingston campus, as well as the Newell apartments on our Cook campus, and the Bush Suites on the Bush campus also offer honors housing as well. As for honors programs, they also offer specific housing options on each of our campuses. So whether you're part of like the School of Arts and Science honors program, the SEBS or School of Environmental and Biological Sciences honors program, they also have specific housing options in different buildings around our campuses, much for the same purpose, which is just to keep the community together and get you to know other students that are like you in terms of your academics.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Sam. There's another question, a great question. Are all of the housing styles the same for each campus? So that's kind of like a yes and a no. There are apartment style housing on every single one of our campuses. Here on the College Avenue campus, we have the Easton Ave apartments where I currently am, and the Sojourner Truth apartments where Sam lived in his sophomore year. On the Cook and Douglas campuses, we have the Newell apartments. There are the Nichols apartments and the Buell apartments on the Bush campus, and then Livingston has the Livingston apartments. So there's apartments everywhere. There are suites on the Bush campus, and then there are traditional first-year residence halls on about all 5 of our campuses. So you really don't have to worry about where you want to live in that sense. Like, oh, I'm not going to get like an apartment if I want to live on this campus. Like, that's not really going to happen to you. Every single first year student is going to be placed in pretty much an identical residence hall, no matter what campus that they live on. The really only difference is the location of the building and maybe what the outside of the building looks like. But every single traditional residence hall room is on every single campus and looks pretty much the same. And then there's another great question about changing your campus if you don't like it in the first year. Absolutely. So again, we don't like to think of our campuses as different colleges or separate things, because that's not what they are at all. They're just different neighborhoods, like for you to live on and for you to experience. So as I said, in my first year, I lived on the Douglas campus and I absolutely loved it. It was an amazing experience. But this year I wanted to live on the College Avenue campus. So I did just that. You can change your housing from year to year. We want you to grow and change with your friends. If you want to live with more people in an apartment in a suite style, that's what it's all about. So you can definitely change your campus and your housing style from year to year. And if you are really just not enjoying where you are in that particular year, which doesn't happen too often, you can definitely set up a housing change request, and you can you can go through that process with the housing people and administration. It's totally possible.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I just see another question here relating to honors housing in terms of if you're accepted to the honors college, you do still need to complete your housing application. However, you're not going to rank the campuses because you only have one option. They know through the system that you're an honors college student. So as long as you accept your honors college like eligibility or your place in the honors college, you will still have to fill out the application, but it will still put you, yeah, obviously in that building.
Yes. There's a question as which is the best residence hall. I think that's really funny because I feel like everybody that lives in their residence hall loves that residence hall the best. There's always this big debate, like in your first year, like which residence hall is the best. And we actually, in our very first week at Rutgers, we have I think it's called Throwdown, and each campus has this really fun pep rally where they compete against the other residence halls. And there's just so much pride for your own residence hall. Like no matter how nice Sam's apartment was last year, I will always consider my traditional style residence hall on the Douglas campus as the best building here at Rutgers. And I feel like every single student loves that and feels the same exact way about their first year resident hall. There's just something about it. That place becomes your home. So there's really no best or worst place to live. Absolutely. Like it doesn't exist, but everybody just ends up loving the place that they live. And I feel like that's usually what happens. I don't know if you love the honors college. I know you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Another question here, which is kind of more broad, but I think it's really good to be able to address with everyone is, despite all of our campuses, as you mentioned, we don't like to think of them as like totally separate, but rather just different neighborhoods as part of the greater whole of Rutgers, New Brunswick. Does Rutgers still feel like one big family of a school? Or if I could like spin the question, like how do we go about like fostering a sense of community as Rutgers, New Brunswick students, despite the size of our campus?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I feel like there are so many smaller communities within one giant community. Like everything always looks so big when you're looking at it, but it's just always not the case. You have Rutgers, New Brunswick, and then you have your campus, and then you have your residence hall, and then you have your floor, and then you have your friend group, and then you have friends within each of those things. You have friends in the greater community, in the smaller campus community, in your residence hall. Like there's just so many people to talk to meet. There's so many events going on absolutely everywhere. Again, like you might have a really fun local event happening right inside of your building. And then when that's over, you might go to an event happening on your campus. And then when that's over, you might go to an event happening on another campus. Like there are totally ways to stay interconnected and feel like it's just this one giant community. You're definitely not locked in your residence hall dorm room. That never happens. We encourage you to travel, take the buses, and go explore because we do give you this amazing 5-for-1 deal with the campuses for a reason. It's not to like stay in your dorm room and talk to just your roommate. We want you to go out and explore and have those amazing experiences. And another question, we touched about this on our campus overview session, which will be posted shortly after the open house is over. So you can go watch all of the live streams back in case you missed anything, but are all of the campuses and housing within walking distance, or are they kind of far apart? If you're on one particular campus, they are totally walkable. So if you have a friend that lives in a different residence hall on the same campus as you can totally walk to their dorm and go hang out with them. If you live on a different campus, you might have to take a bus to get to your friend's residence hall. But again, that is just a way of life here at Rutgers, and it really doesn't always pose an issue to us. I would take the bus to see Sam at the yard any day of the week. But talking about seeing Sam at the yard any day of the week, guests, we have to talk about a guest policy. So our residence halls are secure and locked 24 hours in the day. Only students who live in the building are allowed to access the residence hall via your Rutgers ID card and a swipe system. So if you have a visitor, including any family members, they must be let in by you yourself, a resident with your swipe card. And they also must be escorted by you and your swipe card. All guests must provide photo ID to any RA that is on duty. They will make sure that nobody is coming in the building that shouldn't be there, and they are not allowed to stay for longer than 3 consecutive days. And we always ask that you talk to your roommates or your suite mates before bringing in a guest. Again, resident assistants are on duty at all times. So if there is any issue, you can definitely contact them. Or if you have any questions about guests, you can contact them as well. I absolutely loved going over to my friends' buildings to hang out with them. It was so much fun. And I loved when my friends came to visit me. So it was a good time. You can definitely have guests and hang out in your residence halls. It is not an issue. All right, just looking for some more questions. Can a freshman choose a suite or apartment option? So usually a freshman will get placed in a traditional style residence hall. However, there are certain opportunities for a freshman to be placed otherwise. A lot of our living learning communities, or LLCs, which are another housing opportunity here on campus, do place students in particular housing options that may involve suite or apartment style. An LLC is a living learning community. It is a group of students that live together on a particular floor or in a particular building that share a similar interest. So the Honors College is one giant living learning community. The Douglas Residential College is another giant living learning community, but there are also smaller living learning communities. There's the Leadership Living Learning Community, the Business Living Learning Community, and they all live on particular floors in particular buildings. So depending on those things, freshmen might be able to live in a different place, but usually freshman is placed in a traditional style residence hall. And again, there really is, I always found no issue with that. I loved it. It's part of the college experience, sharing your room and having a communal bathroom. And it's just so much fun. It is 1 or possibly 2 years that you will literally never forget. It was, I miss it so much, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was gonna even go off of that and kind of hit the point that you just did. In terms of that question, living in a traditional first-year residence hall is a truly fantastic experience. I know one of the biggest worries or sources of stress or anxiety coming into college might be like, how am I going to meet new people? How am I going to meet, new friends at this new place? And really, one of the absolute best ways to do that is through your residence hall. Our RAs or resident assistants, especially during the first week or two, will go out of their way to host different events on your floor to have you come out and meet the people on your floor, and they can be your very first friends at Rutgers. So they're really like Nick said, there's really nothing like the experience of being able to live in a first-year residence hall. So I like, as I said before too, I would recommend that experience to anybody.
Yeah. And then, like I mentioned in the beginning of the session, when I introduced myself, I'm part of RHA, which is the Rutgers Housing Association. We are student government for residence halls. So we like to plan really fun events as well. We put on a pajama party, we put on Kahoot nights, de-stress nights with face masks and a bunch of dessert, pizza parties in our residence hall. And those happened like on a weekly basis. So there's always so much going on at night after you're finished studying with your friends in your dorm room. Maybe you want to head down to the lobby and attend one of our events, whether that be by RHA or by an RA. There's just always so much going on. And there's really nothing like living in a traditional residence hall, getting those really fun experiences.
Yeah. I also see a question about like the point system for doubles and suites. So yes, as you progress in your years at Rutgers in your sophomore year, junior year, senior year, if you do still want to live on campus, you are totally welcome to do so. The way that a lot of that works is through a seniority system. So as you get points based on your year at Rutgers, if you're a senior, junior, sophomore, or first year student. So for the apartments and a lot of the suite style housing, seniority is really the way that a lot of those are determined. So like the more senior you are, the higher, the year, it is more likely that you would live in one of those buildings. For a lot of our first year residence halls, they actually use reverse seniority. So that's how we go about like ensuring that a lot of our first year students will get to live on campus if they so choose. Even in your second year, that can also help you to live in a residence hall again if you would like to. And then the other aspect of that is a lottery number. So you enter the housing lottery and you will like receive a random number between 1 and something like 13,000. The lower the number it is, the sooner that you would choose your housing location. So those two kind of work like in conjunction with each other to determine housing as you progress past your first year at Rutgers.
Definitely. And if living on campus all 4 of your years is not something that you'd be interested in, that is totally okay. You can commute, or there are a bunch of off-campus options. We have off-campus housing through Rutgers with the RU off-campus portal. They have local apartment buildings and houses in the New Brunswick area that are, again, through Rutgers. And then you can also just, of course, like Sam is this semester, rent a house with your friends in the local New Brunswick area. All of the streets here are lined with Rutgers students. It's such a lively area. It's so much fun. So that is also definitely possible for you as well, if, again, living on campus is not what you'd be interested in. All the deadlines for applying for housing and all of the processes for all of that are going to be outlined on your My Rutgers dashboard in your portal. Once you do, I'll accept enrollment and go through the processes like that. There'll be a step-by-step instructions with all the dates and everything. So you do not need to worry about getting confused. And if you do need any type of help, you can go onto our admissions website and use the live chat feature there, where we will guide you throughout the way. It is staffed by us Scarlet ambassadors on a daily basis. So if you have any questions, you can definitely go there as well. Sam, I don't know if you have anything else to add about dining or housing before we sign off.
I don't believe so, but I want to just thank everyone for coming out today in this, virtual environment to hear what we have to say. I hope that you stick around for the other sessions that are coming up in the rest of the day today. And we hope to see you on campus in the fall.
Yes, we do. Thank you all for coming. Our Scarlet ambassadors will continue to answer questions in the chat. So if you have any more questions about dining or housing, please send them our way. But yep, that's it for now. Thank you guys so much.
Where all Rutgers ever watched us stand, or has she not everyone, and welcome to our 2 p.m. session on getting involved with Scarlet Ambassadors. My name is Cassie, and Jared is here with me today, and we'll be talking about the different ways how you can get involved on campus, the different types of involvement that we have, our own personal involvement, because you will be able to tell Jared and I are very passionate about involvement here at Rutgers, and then opening up the floor for a little Q&A. And before we introduce ourselves formally, we'd love to know who is in the audience with us today. So feel free to drop in the chat your name, maybe where you're viewing from, even some involvement that you did in high school or involvement that you're thinking about in college, just so we can get to know each of you a little bit individually, and then we'll introduce ourselves. So feel free to drop it in the chat. We love to hear from everyone.
While you guys are dropping that stuff in the chat, just a little bit about the rest of the itinerary for the day. We're going to chat for about 45 minutes with you all, and then we'll have one more trivia to wrap up the day with Sam and Nick at 3 o'clock, so definitely tune in for that. And you can also continue to ask us questions in the chat throughout the rest of the day. We will be answering some of them live towards the end, and we also have our ambassadors on deck answering all of your questions as well. So Cassie, if you want to start introducing yourself.
Sure, absolutely. So hi, everyone. My name is Cassie Cudahy. I am a sophomore, and I am a student in the School of Communication and Information and School of Arts and Sciences. I'm majoring in communications and minoring in English and education. My first year here, I lived on the College Avenue campus, and my hometown is Cherry Hill, New Jersey. So yay, I'm a South Jersey girl. My involvement on campus spans from being a Scarlet Ambassador Captain, which is what Jared and I are, rocking the polos for today. I am a Marketing Assistant Director for the Rutgers University Programming Association. I'm Fundraising Chair and member of the Rutgers Voorhees Choir. I'm Peer Mentor for the Leadership Living Learning Community, Event Planning Staff Member for the Office of Leadership and Experiential Learning, also known as LEX. I currently am working at the Eagleton Institute of Politics, assisting a professor with some research about telehealth communication. And I think that is it. If I forgot anything, we'll talk about it later.
And you're a Scarlet Ambassador, of course. Is that all you're involved in, Cassie?
That is all I have for today. I think
you're at the wrong section about getting involved. I don't think that's really for you. I'm not as involved as Cassie, though I do some stuff. So I'll get into that. My name is Jared, if you didn't catch that. I am a junior in the School of Arts and Sciences Honors Program, studying urban planning and design at the Blaustein School of Planning and Public Policy, and also communication at the School of Communication and Information. I am a full-time commuter. I live about 15 minutes away down Route 18. I've commuted my entire time here. In terms of my involvement, I am the Vice President of Chapter Development for the Public Relations Student Society of America, and I'm also a member of the sister organization Scarlet PR. It's our student-run public relations firm on campus. I'm also a part of the Rutgers Commuter Student Association. I also had a part-time job at the Office of Advising and Academic Services as a peer influencer in the School of Arts and Sciences, and I'm also a part of EJB Design, which is Blaustein's club for designing and helping to better our planning and design skills. So we obviously are involved together in a variety of things, and you're probably wondering at this point, how do you get involved with all of these things? So we're going to dive right into that. So Cassie, if you want to start us off.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the different places to get involved. So Jared, actually, I want to throw it back to you to explain what the involvement fair is, because I see someone in the chat said they're worried it would be hard to find people since everyone might have friends. So they want to find out some club recommendations, and absolutely the involvement fair is a great place to start. So Jared, go ahead, explain involvement fair. It's an amazing event.
Yes, definitely. So whenever we always get this question, the light in our head immediately goes off to involvement fair. Every September, usually on or about Labor Day, College Avenue, the actual street on College Avenue campus, shuts down completely from end to end for a huge tabling event where all 700, that's right, 700 plus clubs and organizations come out and recruit people for their group. It's a great opportunity to figure out what you want to get involved with and find your niche, and you can learn about their objectives for the year. That's how I found out about most of my clubs that I'm involved in, especially PRSSA. That's how I worked my way up on their e-board. If you somehow cannot find the club that best suits you at this event somehow, don't worry about it, because you can also create your own club. As long as you have a couple of friends and a supervisor, you can go ahead and make a brand new organization for others to join on campus as well, and then be at the next involvement fair, which is really great. Involvement fair always made me feel like, I'm back on the banks. Like, it's finally time to get back into the swing of things after a long, restful summer. I always love going up and down, grabbing my cup of water that they always provide water stations across the entire street. It's really fun. It's a really great way to see a bunch of people who you may have not seen all summer, because even though we are a large university, you're always seeing someone you know. Cassie, if you want to explain about your time with the involvement fair, I'm sure that's how you got involved with a lot of your stuff as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The involvement fair is an amazing opportunity. I went to it my first year here on campus, and it's funny, it actually rained for like half the involvement fair, and everyone was still out there getting flyers, talking to people, learning about new clubs. And I think it's just something really special. And as Jared said, it does make you feel like it's the official start of the school year going. So it's definitely an amazing opportunity. Jared, I don't know if you mind me kind of segueing and talking about how we did the involvement fair this year,
Of course.
because it was also what I had a little bit more involvement with it. Obviously things are virtual this year, but I am so proud to be a Rutgers student, because Rutgers is always finding new ways to transition in-person events to this new online virtual format. This year, Involvement Fair was held over a group. It was like a website called Campus Groups, and you still had the opportunity to go to different virtual booths and interact with clubs and activities, whether it be through a chat feature or enter into a Zoom room and talk to some members. And I loved getting to work on it as more of a club member like role instead of just a visitor. And I thought that was really something special to be able to still make the Involvement Fair happen, because it is such a special event in this new virtual format. So I did just want to bring that up. And then before I explain other types of ways to get involved, Jared, do you have anything else you want to say about Involvement Fair?
I think you really explained it well. It was really nice to have the virtual opportunity to still express what we do in our clubs to everyone who was still online, because we were still able to take their emails and add them to our email lists and help them to join our virtual Zoom sessions that happen. Usually most of our recreation happens towards the evening when there's less classes happening. But if you can't make an event because of a conflict with the class, a lot of the clubs are always accommodating of that. We'll send you information no matter what, so you can join other activities that we do. And that's a lot of the stuff that we explain at the Involvement Fair as well. So it's always a great opportunity. Just even if you're not ready to join a club, it's good to go to the Involvement Fair, because you can at least see what is available when you really actually want to go and join one.
Yeah, Jared, absolutely. I have to say PRSSA is fantastic at giving recap emails. I actually have a class that directly conflicts with the meeting time, but I always feel like I'm at the meetings because you're always sending PowerPoints and recap sheets. So definitely having an email, a club having your email is fantastic and super helpful. So shout out to PRSSA.
And back to you with that too, because I always get the Rutgers University Programming Association emails and newsletters. So it's always great to see what they're doing, even if I can't personally be involved at that moment.
Amazing. So another way that you can get involved or look to get involved or learn more about involvement is a website called Get Involved. I feel like I've said involved a lot. If anybody's counting, let me know how many times I just said that. So this website's fantastic. It's called Get Involved. If you look it up, you can basically, it's a database where you can check out every single club, organization, group at Rutgers. And I think it's great, especially as an incoming student, if you're not really sure specifically what groups you want to be a part of. Because if you're like me, you want to get involved, but you also want to do your research. So it's Get Involved. If one of our Scarlet ambassadors in the chat could possibly put the link down there so people can have access. Let's say you want to get involved in a club about community service. You literally type in community service and all the clubs that have to do with community service will come up. And it's amazing because it really helps you learn more about the clubs. There's information about their social media handles, their email addresses, their meeting times. It's just a fantastic resource. And I think it really helps you, especially if the involvement fair is a little bit overwhelming at first and you want to do some research beforehand. So Get Involved is like my favorite thing ever.
Awesome. Yeah. And if you don't head over to Get Involved, a lot of our different organizations have social media accounts. If you end up stumbling upon one of the clubs after involvement fair, or you found out your friend is a part of something that you somehow missed or didn't get to look at, more likely than not, they will have some form of social media, which has been very important in the online environment specifically too. But even when we're back on campus, we are constantly posting on all of our social medias. Because I am a part of a public relations firm, it's pretty ingrained into what we do that we post a lot about on media accounts, what we're doing and who we're working with. So many of our organizations do have those platforms, especially Instagram and sometimes Twitter. So this is a perfect way to still contact a club. You can reach out to them via direct message, and one of their social media chairs will definitely contact you back and add you to their email list. That way you can join on and go to all the meetings as if, sorry, I slipped up on my words, but you can join their email list and then join their meetings after that. You can see what clubs and organizations are doing throughout the year, what they post, and that helps also give you a sense of their goals for the year too, because they're always posting their accomplishments, meetings, and collaborations.
Yeah, so hopefully we gave you a lot of different ways to look at the different types of involvement and the different clubs and organizations. So now Jared and I are going to cover the different types of involvement that you can have, like Greek life or sports or extracurricular involvement and clubs and activities and all that good stuff. And then we'll also talk about our own personal experiences. So right now I'm going to throw it to Jared to give us an overview of what Greek life looks like here at Rutgers.
Yes, definitely. So, excuse me, Rutgers is in no way a go Greek or go home university. In fact, only about 13% of our student body is involved in some form of fraternity or sorority. I am personally not a part of Greek life. I found that my home was elsewhere in my jobs on campus and in clubs and other organizations, and that's totally okay as well. But if you do choose to join our Greek life, the College Avenue campus is home to the majority of our fraternity and sorority houses. And there's various different Greek organizations that you can rush, including social, professional, service, multicultural, and honor societies. Throughout the year, you can see Greek life tabling out at our student centers with fun activities and games, raising money for their philanthropies. And a lot of them also raise money for one of the biggest events of the year that Cassie is going to talk about in a moment, Dance Marathon. It's a really great opportunity, especially if you are involved in Greek life and other organizations as well, to raise money for important things that we hold dear to heart here at Rutgers. So Cassie, if you want to explain a little bit about Dance Marathon, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so exciting because Dance Marathon is happening today. I actually was on their website earlier because I have a lot of friends who are involved in it, and it's actually starting at 4 p.m. There's a little countdown going on their site, and I was so excited to see that. So what Dance Marathon is, it's a student-run philanthropic event that happens here in New Jersey, and their mission is to provide emotional and financial support for children who are a part of the Embrace Kids Foundation. And a lot of the participants who are students, they dance to help raise funds and awareness that goes towards the Embrace Kids Foundation, and their mission is to support the non-medical needs of children with cancer, sickle cell, and other serious disorders. So basically what's going to happen in the next 24 hours is our efforts are going to culminate in a weekend of no sitting, no sleeping, dance marathon, and basically everybody dances as is in the title. And typically, just so you know, the tradition of Dance Marathon, it takes place at the Rutgers Athletic Center, which is housed on our Bush campus. It's also known as the RAC, and it's where our basketball games are played. And it brings together almost 2,000 people, including dancers and volunteers. So if you got anything out of that, know that Rutgers students really, really do care about their community. They work to give back. And it is tied with Greek life, but also students from all different clubs and organizations partake in it because they are so passionate about this event. So make sure that you're keeping the dancers and the volunteers in mind today, even though it's all happening virtually. I know a lot of students and friends of mine have put in a ton of work to make this event happen, and Dance Marathon is really important to a lot of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally have never participated in Dance Marathon. I'm really going to try to do it for my senior year. But I've definitely donated to some of my friends' sororities and fraternities. You'll see sometimes on their social media, once you kind of enter Rutgers, that they'll be posting donation bingos, and they'll basically tag you when you donate. So it's really cool. And they all try to raise a certain amount of money. We've raised over $1 million these past few years, which is amazing. So I'm really happy to be a part of a school that does such an amazing thing for people in need.
Yeah.
So next, what we're going to talk about is sports. We have a variety of different sports here on campus. I'm going to talk about the different types, and then Cassie's going to talk about the different actual sports. So Rutgers is famously known for being a part of the Big Ten in the Eastern Division of the Big Ten. But not only are we home to the Division I athletics, these are which students are normally recruited for, we also have two other ways you can get involved in sports if you are not a part of one of the Big Ten teams. And so I'll also mention too, so those Big Ten sports, they compete against the other Big Ten teams, big names such as Penn State, Michigan, Indiana, all of those. We are part of those divisions and we verse them. Under that, we also have club and intramural sports. Club sports are similar to Division I teams where we compete with other Big Ten schools club teams and other regional schools club teams, except for a club sport, you have to try out yourself and make the team on campus. A lot of students who normally maybe played a sport before coming to campus, but aren't necessarily recruited for the Big Ten or are going to school for sports, join these teams. If you have not done a specific sport, but definitely want to try out, you still can, and we encourage you to do so. And right under that, we also have our intramural sports. Those are the most recreational version of our sports options at Rutgers. They aren't as competitive. There is no formal trial to these teams, so you can kind of just walk up to the team if something is happening, join it, and have a grand time. They are essentially played on campus, and then they verse other teams that also form on campus. And most of these intramural sports can be played at our recreation centers. I know what I always love to see if I was on the bus on Bush or walking into the Warblin Recreation Center, we have the volleyball courts over to the side, some other open fields where people play. There's plenty of different fields on campus and stadiums, especially on the Bush campus where a lot of our athletics are held. So it's a really cool way to exercise, get involved in the sport. And depending on the level of competitiveness you want, we have those great options for you.
Yeah, and we have so many different types of sports. Jared talked about the levels, but if we talk about the amount of types of sports that we have, there are a lot. And unfortunately, I'm not involved in sports, but I know a lot of people who are. I know we have soccer teams, basketball teams, flag football teams, softball teams, street hockey, volleyball, ultimate frisbee, swimming. I think we have a tennis team. We have people who go and play pickleball, like intramural teams. I know actually a personal experience of mine was a group of guys on my floor. They actually made a intramural football team, and they actually would send us their schedule in our hall group chat every single week. They would say, come out and support us. So it's really, really nice. And, you know, there's options for everybody. And also if we have Quidditch, don't we have Quidditch, Jared?
Oh, yes, we do. We have a club Quidditch team that versus other schools with other club Quidditch teams. I think we also have like underwater basket weaving teams and things like that. It's really neat. And a fun fact, even a lot of ambassadors don't even know this about me. I was actually a part of the club Taekwondo team in the fall semester of my freshman year here. And what's really cool about teams like that, especially martial arts where there's a ranking system involved, I was able to keep my belt ranking that I got previously outside of Rutgers. And when I was participating and exercising with them, I got to keep that from my old organization. So it's really cool and a really great way to intertwine things that you may have done outside of Rutgers and continue on.
That is too cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Another thing that I just want to bring up, because I know that there is an argument, and I am in favor of dance being labeled as a sport. So we're going to talk about dance as a sport instead of dance just being an extracurricular. Like Jared said, if you have outside experience and let's say you want to pursue dance, because here we're saying dance is a sport today. You can be involved in lots of different types of dance classes here at Rutgers. And they also make sure that everybody has a spot. So like they place you on levels, and no matter what your skill level is, like if you have outside experience or if you're new to that, also dance is a great thing to be a part of, especially because it's fun and it's like an active, it keeps you active and fit and fun. And
you know what's really interesting about dance, now that I think about it too, I think it's the most multidisciplinary activity at Rutgers, because not only is it a major through one of our schools, it's also a part of our Big Ten and club teams, and there's the Rutgers Dance Performing Company as a club. So just dance alone, for example, there's so many ways to get involved with that alone too, that it's really interesting how people fit that into their schedules or put a level of commitment to it. So you can either go all the way with it as a major, participate in it if you're recruited, or try out for one of our teams that compete with other teams at other sports events, or just do it after school and perform for people at different things on campus, right on Douglas at Bender Plaza, which is really neat.
Yeah, and I bet we both know people. I definitely know someone who's on the D1 dance team, like the big dance team that performs at the football games. And I also know someone who just takes classes for fun, and they're like they're in the school of nursing. Like the different levels of commitment, even if you can't commit all your time to something, or you just want it to be a small commitment, like it's doable. And that's something that's awesome here at Rutgers in general, which especially you'll hear when we start talking about like our extracurricular involvement. You have this like, it's like a continuum of how much you want to be involved with things. And I think, as you said, it's great and it's flexible and it really allows everybody to be involved and customize the experience to what they want.
Definitely. So Cassie, since you are the queen of involvement, why don't you dive right into what you're involved with, some personal anecdotes about your time as a super involved student, which is phenomenal. I'll give you so much credit. Everyone watching, this woman right here next to me, time management unlike any other. She is organized beyond belief and just loves everything she does. I totally look up to her. So kudos to you, Cassie. So please dive right in because I'm curious.
Thank you, Jared. And I couldn't do it without my planner, which I actually spilled. If we're being real, I spilled tea all over my planner today and marker bled everywhere. So
yeah.
But yes, the planner does it. But thank you, Jared. That's so sweet. So I think two unique involvements that I want to bring up first are in high school. I'm going to say I was a theater kid and I was in choir and I loved music, but I didn't necessarily want to pursue that in college. I wanted to pursue something else and I ended up pursuing communication. But my love of singing still doesn't stop. I sing in the house all the time, my poor family, but also I love being involved and being in choirs and in productions. And it's amazing that I didn't have to just pursue that as a major. I can still do it. And I can still be in productions and I can still be in choirs. So currently I am a member of the Rutgers Voorhees Choir, which is one of our choral ensembles here at school. And they are open to any major. So you can audition. We have 4 major choirs here that are, they're like class-based. So we have the Rutgers Voorhees Choir, the Rutgers Glee Club. We have the Kirkpatrick Choir, and we have the University Choir. And basically anybody, any major can audition for them, and it's fantastic. This is not including all the a cappella groups that are run by students, but the choirs are more like classes taught by professors. So just really awesome experience, and I never wanted to stop singing, even though I'm not a music major. So just definitely something for you to kind of keep in the back of your head. The other thing that I wanted to highlight is with my theater experience, I actually was a part of a show. I was a part of the Addams Family this fall. So I was a part of it last November. And it's amazing that I was able to do it virtually. That's awesome. But also as a non-theater major, non-musical theater person, like not, major wise, right. It was really amazing that I was able to be a part of that and kind of pursue those interests, but not necessarily have to pursue them academically. And we have a lot of theater companies on campus. So that's basically my entertainment performing arts spiel. I'll talk about other types of involvement later, but I want to throw it to Jared to talk about more like professional involvement, because Jared has all that.
Yes. So professional organizations are really neat because you definitely build upon things that you need for your career and life goals, especially if you join either a fraternity or sorority or organization that aligns with your major or what you want to do. So one of my majors is communication. It was the first major I decided on. So I started this really early on in my college career, being a part of the Public Relations Student Society of America, the Todd Hunt chapter at Rutgers, and also being a part of the sister student-run public relations firm Scarlet PR. At this point, I am now the vice president of chapter development. I've been in that position for 2 years. To give you a little bit of an idea about what we essentially do, we work with local businesses on and around campus and other bigger businesses too, such as Robert Wood Johnson, to promote anything that they really want in terms of advertisement and marketing, any deals that they're doing for students to go out and try out their business or what they're offering. It's a really cool way to learn about the world of PR while also getting my degree in that school. And also having experience to put on my resume for when I go and apply to different jobs if I choose to do a PR path in the future. It's really cool. My job specifically is I recruit people to come and join the club. I always emphasize that being a part of also a different school, Blousing School of Planning and Public Policy, should not bar you from joining a club from something that you're not even a part of that school. So even though PRSSA is a part of the School of Communication, we have people in the School of Business, we have people in nursing, we have myself and Blousing, people who want to get involved and learn how to work in those business environments will come and join us, especially because we also do things such as resume building, cover letter polishing, mock interviews. We have people that come in and speak to us. It's a really great way to get a sense of professionalism in the world. And also have something to put on your resume as experience, because that is experience. I was actually able to obtain, for example, an internship with Amtrak at the Gateway Project. It was a combined, very unique communication planning internship. And because I had experience in both blousing and doing public relations work, they saw this as a perfect fit for me. Unfortunately, because of COVID, that is temporarily suspended, but I'm hoping to get back into that eventually soon, but it really does help.
Yeah, Jared, that internship, I was so happy for you when I saw you got it.
Yeah.
And I think definitely the skills that you pick up, especially with Scarlet PR, like you are always having people come like from PR firms and talk. And I think that's awesome that there's networking opportunities for students.
Especially our advisor, Mark Beal. He's a professor at the university. He has plenty of connections too, and he helps students too. So even getting involved with your supervisors and professors is a great way to find those connections.
Do you want to talk about commuter involvement? And then I can talk about like RUPA, because RUPA is a big topic that has been coming up a lot today.
Perfect. So a lot of commuter students get a little nervous about, not getting that whole, college experience. And I'm here to debunk all of those myths because I have been a full-time commuter my entire time. I'm extremely involved. I've made so many friends. I've stayed with my friends overnight in residence halls. Like I've done it all. The Rutgers Commuter Student Association is a great way for students to definitely at least get their foot in the door about involvement, because their goal is to really bring together commuter students' needs and interests and building their own community at the campus. We promote student integration into larger Rutgers populations through programming and advocacy and other student organizations, committees, departments, etc. And we even also have 2 commuter lounges, one on Bush campus and one on Douglas. And this is a great way for students to meet other people that commute to campus and hang out. It's not something that you always have to go to and be involved in, but I always get newsletters about what's going on. They always do things like barbecues, which is really neat at some of the campuses, just to have people come out and hang out on campus, which is really awesome and really important to me as a commuter, because I still wanted to make the most of my time, even if I was never living on campus. And so I was able to do so through all of these organizations.
And you absolutely have, Jared, because literally I did not know you were a commuter until probably about a few months after I met you, just because you were the face of so many organizations and you were so involved. So it is absolutely possible as a commuter student. Like, I'm not just saying that, like Jared is so involved. And if you choose to be involved, like you still, no matter what, as a commuter student, you will feel like a member of the Rutgers community. But if you put yourself out there and you make sure you're getting involved, you'll feel even more connected. And that's definitely a choice that you have. And there's so many opportunities out there.
Well, speaking of opportunities, how about you tell us about those RUPA opportunities?
So if anybody's been on the live stream with us throughout today, Hot Dog Day keeps coming up. I'm super pumped. I wanted to talk about it throughout the trivia session earlier this morning, but I held off a lot. I'll talk about my experience with RUPA, which is known as Rutgers University Programming Association. And the way you can recognize anyone from RUPA is that they are wearing a purple polo. So imagine I'm wearing a purple polo right now. And basically what RUPA does is we are a student-run organization that plans and executes large-scale events for the Rutgers community. So we just wrapped up an event with Rami Youssef. I don't know if anyone knows him. We are planning an event with Claire Saffitz from Bon Appetit. We just conducted a hot dog day, which basically we had activities on our Instagram all week, and we ended up giving any students who signed up for it a gift card to get their own free hot dog from Destination Dogs. We have a lot of great events, and especially when you're on campus, we hold a lot of large scale events. So the wonderful thing about being a part of it is that as a student, you have the opportunity to brainstorm and create events for your fellow students. So you are literally creating a budget, planning out the event, contacting the vendors, contacting the celebrities, agents. It's really, really cool. And also hot dog day mentions. Yeah, we have a lot of hot dog day mentions. Honestly, we have a lot of people mentioning hot dog day. But it's a really great thing to be a part of. And I feel like, as Jared said, like with PRSSA, I've gained so many skills that I can use from this organization and from my involvement in it now, and I can bring them with me and write them in my resume or share them with on job interviews and things like that. So I think involvement, as much fun as involvement is, also you gain such valuable skills being involved in different organizations and taking on leadership positions in those organizations. Like, I'm a marketing assistant director, so I'm doing all the marketing on the Instagram, the Twitter, the Facebook. Don't really understand how Twitter works, but that's okay. I'm figuring it out.
That's my baby right there. I love Twitter. But that's great. Yeah, Rupa's really awesome. You guys do Beats on the Banks, correct?
Yeah, we do Beats on the Banks.
That's one of my favorite activities in normal non-COVID world. To go and watch a live concert is really awesome.
And the event also, it's awesome when different clubs and organizations collab together to create experiences. I know we've collabed with the Office of Leadership and Experiential Learning and done, we did a build your own brand with, if anybody knows the Golden Balance from TikTok, he's like a chef, college student / chef / extraordinaire. There's lots of cool events, but also just so many ways to get involved. And you can be involved in a lot of different clubs and organizations on so many different levels. But I'm probably going to stop talking about Rupa because I feel like I've talked about it a lot. Jared, do you want to see if never enough. Do you want to see if anyone has any questions in the chat? If not, Jared and I could talk all day about involvement and clubs and organizations.
Honestly, Cassie and I were texting about this the other day, and we were like, they chose the wrong two, because we could go on for 3 hours, and I'm sure everyone who works with us agrees that we are just chatty Cathys. And
we're passionate about involvement because it's so great. It's so great.
Yeah.
But does anybody have any specific like club involvement type questions, or does anyone want to share like what they're thinking about getting involved with?
So I actually see a question. Will fall 2021 activities be virtual as well, or is the plan for it to be in person? Right now, according to my e-board, at least for PRSSA, we plan to host in-person meetings, which is really great. We will follow all CDC guidelines. We will allocate the room and the space for the number of people that normally join our meetings. And we will probably be able to have virtual things involved and mixed into it in a hybrid fashion, just in case things are, we can't fit because of capacity constraints. We'll work with it. We're learning more and more day by day. But with President Holloway's message that we are returning in person, that includes clubs and sports and things like that, which is really awesome. I'm really excited to be back in the buildings.
Yeah. And I think having a lot of hybrid options as well. So people, thank you for the questions. We are going to start answering them because I'm seeing them coming, but I think we'll have a lot of hybrid options where people can either choose to be in person or interact virtually. I know for a couple of my organizations, we're talking about making sure that people with all different kinds of comfort levels and situations can still partake in the events, the meetings, things like that. I can talk about the marching band a little bit. I'm not in the marching band, but I see a question about the marching band. So our marching band, they are called the Marching Scarlet Knights. Very cool, very amazing. They are awesome people. I believe that anyone can join. I'm 90% sure about that because I have a friend who's in it. And it's an amazing group of people. And I know especially as an incoming student, it's a great experience to join marching band because you really have this sense of community. I do know that the schedule for marching band is quite rigorous. But I also know that you get to meet a lot of friends. I know someone who's a clarinet or they play clarinet. They're not a clarinet. Really, Cassie. But they have a lot of fun in it, and it's a great way, especially as a first year, to really immerse yourself in some organization. So Marching Scarlet Knights, and maybe there's some information. Hey, try get involved. Let's see if something comes up from there. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they have an Instagram too. Jared, why don't you take the next question and I'll add on for how are you able to find a good work-life, learning, et cetera, balance? Because I think this is important with involvement.
Yeah, and I'm going to tag on to that question. Is there a limit to how many clubs you can get involved in? How many clubs do you recommend being in the first year? So it's really to each their own because everyone has different schedules. Everyone has different abilities in terms of management. you can have someone like Cassie, who is super well organized and can handle A through Z things in a week and be okay with school as well. And then there's people like me, kind of like middle of the road. I can do a few things and also work and do my jobs. And there's also people who may take the first year, you know what, let me adjust. I'll join something sophomore year. But definitely get involved as soon as possible because we don't want you to regret anything here at Rutgers. We want you to at least try something. And if you have to, remove it to focus on your schoolwork, school is always priority. By all means, do that, of course. Definitely your first year is your time to really test out how much you can handle. See if you can take on a little more in your sophomore year, your second years. So it's really to each their own. That's literally my suggestion is this is your time to figure it out. This is your own independent way to see how you can mold your own Rutgers experience, which I think is so great about the plethora of clubs and organizations that you can join, is that you can figure out which ones require more time management, which ones require maybe less amount of time being involved. Like, for example, I'm not super involved in Rutgers Commuter Student Association, but that's because I spend a lot more of my time focusing on something that I'm a board member in, and that's okay too. So you can really figure it out as you progress through the semester, which is great.
Yeah, and I think Jared made a lot of really good points. Definitely echo everything he said. With the question is there a limit? I wish I could quote Mean Girls and say the limit does not exist. But you also,
anyway.
as Jared said, I did. Hopefully everyone knows that reference. But you also, as much as like I'm involved, you also have to take care of yourself. And remember that coming to college is kind of the first time in your life where you'll be making your own schedule, creating, what you're going to be doing throughout the day. And you want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And I'm not trying to turn this into like a self-love kind of talk, but also just make sure that you're creating downtime for yourself away from constantly going, doing all these things. So I would, if you go to the involvement fair, whether it be virtual or in person, write down your name on any email lists and, take down the emails and make sure that you're contacting groups. But as you get through the year, I would start to weed through those lists and just make sure that you're prioritizing the ones that really make you happy. Because as wonderful as it is to be involved in everything, like you're at college for a reason. You're at Rutgers to learn, to take classes, and you want to make sure that you can dedicate the time that you need to dedicate to those classes.
Yes.
So I would just be mindful when getting involved with things. But I don't have a specific number because everybody's unique and everybody's different.
You can always unsubscribe. That's
you
what
can always. You can't. Some clubs, I'm like, please take me off of this email list, and I have been on.
Sometimes. So, but
forgot.
Rather know more than not be able to know it all. So, one question I see is, can you talk a little bit more about martial arts? I'm a black belt myself and would like to continue in college. So I am a black belt too. So hello, fellow black belt person. Like I said, I only did it my first semester, and I'm going to be honest, it was just something that I could not keep up with personally. And I found other things that I liked more, which is totally fine. I would hope that if you come and join one of our martial arts programs, that you come and you stick with it. Like we just echoed to each other before, to each their own. We all have to figure out what we can balance and what we like. I would definitely suggest at least trying one of the club martial arts programs that we have on campus, speaking to the people who are involved in it. They will definitely open up their arms and explain everything that they do, all the competitions that they go to. I remember that when I was in it, they were planning on going to a regional competition in Boston, which was really cool. So there's definitely plenty of opportunities to get involved with that type of stuff as well. And if there is a martial arts program that you are a part of that is not on campus, and you have a few other students that are also a part of your martial arts program, definitely reach out to them using Go Rutgers, which is something that you join when you first commit to the university, and even on your class Facebook page, see who's involved with that and start it yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Club creation is one of the coolest things. I have personally not created a club. I actually know someone who's like trying to create a surfing club right now. And my question was, where are you going to surf? But other than that, there's nothing stopping you from creating a club at Rutgers. If you don't have it, you can create it. And I know, didn't Lydia create a ski and snowboarding team? Or Lydia was one of the founding members? Maybe
She might
wrong.
have been, yeah.
I think she was.
I'm not going to hold anyone to that. Lydia would know that she's not with us right now.
But one of our coworkers, she actually is a part of a ski and snowboarding team, and I believe that she created it. But definitely, like, if you and people are interested in creating something, go for it, because there's no time like the present. And if you're interested in something, other people probably are too.
Definitely.
Anybody have okay, there's a good question about commuters, Jared, if you want to grab that.
Yes, can commuters use the gyms and pools? Absolutely. All Rutgers students have access to all of our recreation facilities, no matter if you're a commuter or a resident. As long as you have your RUID, you swipe to enter at the desk, and they're free for you to use. There's weights, there's multi-purpose rooms for dance, yoga, etc. There's pools at most of our facilities. The only recreation facility that does not have a pool is Livingston, but it's replaced by a spa instead, so I'm not complaining about that. But
That's okay.
But for example, right, for example, if you want an Olympic-sized pool, you'd head over to Warblin on Bush. That has our Olympic-sized swimming pool. The others also have pools too. Courts. Rockwall is at College Avenue, which is really cool. So there's plenty of different ways to choose your favorite recreation center and pool, no matter what type of Rutgers student you are, commuter or resident.
And I think we can almost add on to that through talking a little bit about recreation, because I'm not sure how much that was touched upon today, but I also think that's a great way to get involved. RU Recreation, yeah. There's an amazing app called RU Rec to Go, and it basically lists all the free classes that are offered at the recreation centers, which we have a rec center on every single campus, also known as a recreation center. Sorry, I'm used to saying rec center. They have yoga classes. I have taken many Zumba classes. I am not afraid to share that. They have cycling. What is it called? The cycling class. I fell off my bike, so I didn't go back.
I forgot the name. Is it just called
cycling? Maybe it's a cycling class, but Jared, I'm not even joking. I fell off my bike.
Oh,
the
spin.
First time I went spinning. I went to a spinning class and I fell off the bike, and then
you fell off a stationary. Okay.
But anyway, they are awesome opportunities and ways to still get involved with your friends. You can say to your friends, hey, let's go to a spinning class. Never will happen to me again. But it's a great opportunity to get involved. So definitely make sure you are paying attention if you see anything that's like RU Recreation. Could be a super cool opportunity if, you're into that kind
definitely.
of thing.
Also, getting a job on campus is a great way to get involved too, plus getting some extra pocket change. We're ambassadors. We love our job. I don't think I'm going to work. I think I'm going just to express how much I love Rutgers, which is a great segue to one of the last questions we'll probably take about the school spirit. If you look at us, for example, we bleed Scarlet, okay? I always joke that it's a joke because it's true. A fun fact about me is in the 4th grade, I had scarlet fever, like the actual infection. And then since then, it has never left my body. I've had scarlet fever since then. I went to Rutgers. There's even a Rutgers store on campus called Scarlet Fever. So it's just a really spirited, fun place with so many games, activities and games and things that happen just all the time. Even at our sports games, it's just so loud. Like, we get rowdy and it's just so fun. Win or lose, we have such an amazing time. Even our culture is so integrated into our spirit too. Like, we'll defend our buses to the day we die. It's just everything that is Rutgers, we are here for, right here on the banks of the Raritan. It just, getting involved in spirit life is also really cool, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, and I have to say, first, when I was watching the interview with President Holloway, which was amazing, I have to say it was amazing. Jared and I were very excited. We loved watching it. When President Holloway said, I want Rutgers to be a place where students are walking around on campus decked out in Rutgers gear because they want to be. And something that I always share when I'm giving tours or I'm talking to prospective students is that is the type of place that Rutgers is. And that's why I chose Rutgers. Because when you walk around campus, if you're touring, which unfortunately you all are here with us today, but we're so happy to have you here. Unfortunately, you're not on campus, but you see students on the buses walking around campus decked out in Rutgers gear, so proud to be Rutgers students and so proud to be representing the university in so many different capacities, whether it be through involvement, sports, research, academic honors societies, and things like that. It's an amazing place to be. And you definitely feel that school spirit when you're at Rutgers. And it's awesome also being a part of the Big Ten. That Rutgers has such amazing sports teams is definitely something that we absolutely love. I don't know if I have anything else to add to that question, but I definitely would say that Rutgers students are proud to be Rutgers students. I know Jared and I both are immensely. We bleed Scarlet, and Jared has had scarlet fever since 4th grade.
Yes. I recovered after 10 days, but I think that's just the funniest thing as what happened. But we definitely bleed Scarlet. And with that, it's 2:45. So thank you all for coming to this session. Stay tuned in 15 minutes for our final wrap up of trivia. And we hope to see you on the banks of the Old Raritan in September.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
And so we settled down in that noisy college town on the banks of the old Raritan. On the banks of the old Raritan, my friends, where old Rutgers ever more shall stand. Or has she not stood
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our final session of the day. For anyone who's been with us the entire day, that's awesome. Good on you. If you're just joining us now for our final trivia session of the day, that's awesome as well. Me and Nick have done a few of the sessions today, but we are, of course, going to start with an introduction of ourselves. So my name is Sam. I'm a junior here at Rutgers, and I'm from Eatontown, New Jersey, which is down by the Jersey Shore. I'm a I already said that. I'm an exercise science major in the School of Environmental and Biological Sciences, a psychology minor in the School of Arts and Sciences. I'm also part of the first class of our 8-year medical program between the Rutgers Honors College and the Robert Wood Johnson Medical School. On campus, I lived on the College Avenue campus for my first 2 years, and I've been involved in a variety of things from on-campus research to Greek life to intramural sports and on-campus employment through the Office of Undergraduate Admissions and our Scarlet Ambassador team. Nick, take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. Hi, everyone. My name is Nick. I am a sophomore in the School of Arts and Sciences in the School of Communication and Information, majoring in journalism and media studies with a minor in education. I'm from Clifton, New Jersey, which is 45 minutes north of New Brunswick, but I like calling Rutgers my new home. On campus, I'm involved in RHA, or the Rutgers Housing Association. It's a student-run student government for residence halls. We like to plan really fun events and foster communities within residence halls. I've been a frequent flyer on the chat all day long, so I'm sure you know I've said that a couple times now, but I'm super excited to be here, ending the day with some fun trivia with everybody here today. So, Sam, if you want to get us started with trivia, that'd be so much fun.
Absolutely. So we're going to get going. We got some good questions for you all here today. I'm going to ask a question. Please feel free to drop the answer in the YouTube live chat. So for anyone watching on the Rutgers On Demand website, we definitely recommend that you click and join us live on YouTube so that you can answer in the YouTube live session. And that way we would be able to see that and to interact with you as best as possible. So to start off, my first question for all of you, maybe if you joined us before at 1 o'clock, you heard me and Nick talk a little bit about dining on campus. And something that was unique to Rutgers was that we talked a little bit about our different food trucks. So Rutgers has 1 of 5 of these food trucks in the entire world. There's only 5 food trucks for this restaurant. Does anyone know what restaurant food truck that is?
I feel like this is like a test. Like, I feel like we've talked about all these questions all day long. It's like a test. Who is listening?
If you stuck around. So this very well-known restaurant has a food truck. There's only 5 of them in the world. And Rutgers has 1 of them on our campus. I see the answer already.
Hey, there we go.
Olivia, Michael, Colin, all of you are correct. It is a Starbucks truck. It drives around to all of our campuses every single day, and you can get your coffee, you can get your cake pops, you can get whatever you want to get from Starbucks right out of that truck. It is an awesome experience.
Yes. And there is a comment about, are you hungry? We do have a fat sandwich food truck as well. So that also will be around the campuses. If you need a fat sandwich early in the morning, totally can get that at a food truck as well. But Starbucks is the correct answer. Alrighty. So sticking on the theme of food, which campus's dining hall has its very own create your own burger bar? I don't know if we touched on this earlier, but each dining hall does have something a little special, and this campus has a create your own burger bar. Which campus is that? Ooh, this one, they're stumbling on this one. Sam, do you eat at the burger bar?
I have. I've been at the burger bar many times. It's an awesome feature of one of our dining halls. I'm yet to see it in the chat.
I see answers, but I don't see the right answer.
They've knocked down 2 of the dining halls so far, but there's 2 more. And one of those is the right answer.
There we go. I see it now. Yes, congrats, Riley. The right answer is Livingston. Our Livingston Dining Commons has a create your own burger bar. You can go to the screen and touch everything you want on the screen, from like the bun to the meat to the toppings. They also have hot dogs. That's what you'll find me having at the create your own burger bar. I'll eat the hot dogs, but so good. And that is on our Livingston campus. So congrats, Riley and Brooke and Madeline. Congrats.
So back to me. One of the most impressive and cool things that you can do as a college student is to be able to study abroad. Rutgers offers a ton of different programs in different countries around the world. So our question to you is, how many continents can you study abroad on through Rutgers University?
We asked this one earlier, so if you're paying attention, you might have the answer. Cassie tried to name the continents as well.
I see it already. Olivia got it right. It is all 7 of them. That is right. Rutgers has programs on all 7 continents. That includes Antarctica. Our Department of Marine and Coastal Sciences actually runs a study abroad trip to Antarctica every single year. So if you are someone who enjoys the cold and penguins, that could be the trip for you. If you're someone more like me who prefers warmer weather and none of that, then there are options as well for whatever you'd be interested in. We host study abroad programs, whether they be for entire semesters, whether they be for like during breaks, whether they be for a week long. There are a ton of different options, and you can go to the website of our study abroad office and see all the different options that we offer.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, would you actually go to Antarctica for study abroad? Would you do it if you had the opportunity?
Oh man, it sounds like it would be an interesting experience, but based on the fact that I despise the cold, probably not. Would you?
Really? I wouldn't turn down a trip to Antarctica. I would go.
I guess that is a good bucket list kind of thing, and not every day can you say, "Hey, I'm someone who's traveled to Antarctica before."
That's true. All right, but
it's worth considering.
it is. It'd be a long flight. I don't even know if they probably don't even have an airport. Probably take a long boat. I don't know. All right, coming back closer to home, you have all been listening in between these live sessions. We've had a song playing. It's our alma mater, and it mentions what river Rutgers is located along. So the next trivia question is, what river separates the Piscataway and New Brunswick side of Rutgers New Brunswick campus? What river is that? You were listening to the music between the sessions. Oh, immediately we got it. There we go. Riley, Madeline, Brooke, everybody, Michael, the Raritan River. That is right. The Raritan River runs right through Rutgers, New Brunswick. It separates the New Brunswick side of campus and the Piscataway side of campus. Our crew team actually rows in the New Brunswick River. The Raritan River. We have a really nice park along the river that you can walk on. It's super pretty out there. I absolutely love it. A lot of the dorms here on College Ave have views of the river. Sam had a view of the river in the Honors College. It is super nice. I love looking out. I don't know. Do you love the Raritan?
Yeah, I actually had a chance during my sophomore year to take a class that was entirely based on the Raritan River. It was an interdisciplinary honors seminar through the School of Environmental and Biological Sciences. We learned about like watersheds, the impact of the river on New Jersey, and the history of how it's been used for transport up to New York and all that fun stuff. And we even got to take a trip out onto the Raritan River as part of the class. We got to take a boat out onto the river and go out towards almost all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. So that was an interesting class, an interesting experience, and I really enjoyed it.
Natalie says she's jet skied on the Raritan.
I'm jealous. We didn't get to take jet skis. But all right, so we've discussed, a little bit about our water-based transportation. We got the Raritan River, but also, in the modern age, we have our highways. We use our roads to get around. So my question for you is, does anyone know the name of the highway that runs through Rutgers University, creating the backbone of the university and connecting all 5 of our campuses? What the name of that highway is?
Yeah, our Rutgers buses take this highway throughout all 4 campuses every single day. There we go, immediately.
Some awesome responses. Doing really well so far. Route 18 is absolutely the correct answer. Route 18 holds a very special place in my heart, not only as the connector of Rutgers, but even to get home from Rutgers, I just get on Route 18 and keep going. So, brings me here, it takes me home. I've been driving up and down Route 18 for a long time.
Yeah, when I was coming to Rutgers, I had realized that the 2 local highways are Route 1 and Route 18. And my birthday is January 18th. So those are 118 is my lucky number. So I'm like, this is home right here at the crossroads of Route 1 and Route 18. Yeah, we love Route 1.
It sounds like it was meant to be.
It was meant to be. Yeah. All right, keeping on the foot of transportation, we talked about the New Jersey Transit Station right here on College Avenue. How long does it take? Khadijah said it was meant to be. It was meant to be. All right, my question is, how long does it take to get to New York City via the on-campus New Jersey Transit Station? Here's right here outside my window. How long does it take to get to New York City? There we go. Madeline with the right answer, 45 minutes. I've done it before. I can confirm it does take just about 45 minutes to get into New York City. And for someone that is maybe an out-of-state student or someone that has never been to the city before, this is awesome. There are so many opportunities in the city. Whether you want to go see a show, just hang out with your friends, or go for internships or job opportunities, there is plenty to do. I am taking the Northeast Corridor line right outside my door very often. I absolutely love the train. It's so cool and so much fun. It gets you there really quick, just 45 minutes.
Yeah, I could even relate that back to another class experience. I think that very same semester as my Raritan River class, I also took theater appreciation, to appreciate the theater. And I was, first of all, fantastic class. But second of all, part of that class was also going to see a show. We went to see Frozen on Broadway. So the way that we all got there was we went as a class, took the train in New York, right out of New Brunswick, and went to see that show. And it was really a great time. So, yeah. All right. So following up, I know if you've been with us for a little while, I know Nick covered a little bit of our 5-campus system, broke down what's on each of the campuses a little, or maybe we have some of you engineering students out there in the crowd. But anyway, my question for you is, which of our 5 campuses is the School of Engineering located on?
Very great question.
There we go. And I see the answer. That is correct. It is located on the Bush campus. The Bush campus is historically home to a lot of our STEM majors, so our science, technology, engineering, and math majors. And that is where you would find the School of Engineering as well.
That is correct. The buildings, Sam and I actually just walked around Bush campus last week, and it was super nice looking at all the really cool buildings. The engineering buildings are super fancy and super they look crazy. And the fact that some of them were designed by Rutgers students are even crazier. I absolutely love that. All right, talk about more of our campuses. We have been mentioning all day long that 2 of our campuses are sometimes combined together because they're so close that we never really know where one starts and one ends. So we call them this. What 2 campuses is that? And what do we call them? What's the nickname for our 2 campuses that are sometimes referred to as one big campus? There we go. Teaching everybody the Rutgers lingo right away. We have our Cook and Douglas campus, better known as Cook Doug. I love it there. Again, I live there. Yes, all the answers for Cook Doug. There we go. All right, moving on.
All right, transitioning over to our next question for you. So all of you applying as first-year students applied into one of our 7 undergraduate schools. However, those are not the only options that we offer to our students in New Brunswick. We also have upper division schools, which you can apply into after your first year on campus. So my question for all of you is, how many upper division schools do we have at Rutgers, New Brunswick? It was a little bit of a harder one.
Yes.
We can just start throwing out some numbers.
Yeah, I am in one of them. It is underneath my name tag.
So we know it's at least 1.
At least 1. We probably wouldn't be asking this question if there weren't any.
Waiting on any guesses to come in through the chat. Start throwing out numbers. Someone's going to get it right eventually.
I think I see it right there, right?
Yeah.
Brooke.
My chat stopped updating.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Brooke. Brooke got it right. There's 4 upper division schools. We have the School of Communication and Information, the Blaustein School of Planning and Public Policy, the School of Social Work, and the School of Management and Labor Relations. Yes, those are upper division schools. You can apply to them at the end of your first year, in your sophomore year, or whenever you're just ready to tackle those. I applied into the School of Communication and Information right at the end of my first semester, just so I can get the journalism and media studies major underneath my belt. There are also plenty of other schools that we have, our first year schools, and other schools that you will eventually apply into maybe even later. So I'm in School of Arts and Sciences, I'm in the School of Communication and Information, and I will eventually be in the Grad School of Education. So like Jared said earlier, I can't make up my mind. I don't know, Sam, what schools are you in?
Right now I'm in the School of Environmental and Biological Sciences, and I'm a minor in the School of Arts and Sciences. And eventually I will be a student at one of Rutgers affiliated medical schools. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Another question where I think y'all are just going to be spitting out random numbers. How many libraries do we have here on campus? I don't know if we've touched on this today. We have plenty of libraries here on campus. How many do we have?
I'm interested to see the guesses on this one.
Have you been to all of these libraries, Sam?
Oh, absolutely not.
Me either. All right, we got 1 guess, got 10, got 7. A little bit higher. You know, there's at least 4 because there's one on every campus. So you guys are good with that. A little bit higher than that, though. Oh, we're very close. You're very close with 25. A little bit higher than 25, just a tad bit higher than 25. There we go. I see it. Riley hit it with 26. According to the Rutgers website, we have 26 libraries here on campus. Again, I have never been to all 26 libraries, but I think that would be a fun day trip, is going to all of them.
Absolutely. Yeah, but still, all the libraries are these giant libraries. Actually, I'm sitting in one of the libraries right now. And this is just what it looks like. A nice little area full of books about endocrinology. So if that interests any of you.
What library are you in?
This is the Enos Perry Library in Bartlett Hall on the Cook campus. I've never heard of it either. But
I have been in there so many times, I did not know that existed.
Yeah. Here I am.
Oh, wow. I've probably been to like 5 libraries. Been to the one on Douglas campus, College Ave. There's another one on Cook campus. Been to Livy. I don't know. Yeah, there's 26. So if you all end up at Rutgers, that's a bucket list item right there, is to go to all 26 libraries. Sam, you're going to have to show me that library because I need to cross off my list. I had class in
ways to go.
I did not know that existed. I literally had class in Bartlett Hall. All right.
Awesome. All right, moving on even further. So if you were at 1 o'clock housing and dining session, now you actually heard me talk about this, but just to reiterate and see if anyone remembers that, what is the name of our debit card program that can be used to purchase food on campus and is used to as well? So it's just like a debit card program. It's embedded right into your RUID or your Rutgers ID. And it has a very special name.
It's my favorite thing to use when I go to Are You Hungry? Crispy Pizza. Oh, I see the answer.
Awesome. Olivia getting that answer right. Are You Express? Khadija, so close. Riley, and with the answer, Are You Express? That is the name of our debit card system. Are You Express is a really great system. It can be used both on campus as well as some of Rutgers partners off campus as well. So it's definitely something to consider if you come here to the university.
Yeah, I love RU Express. When your RU Express runs out, your parents will get an email saying that you're running out of money. And if they're nice enough, they'll refill it for you. If they're not nice enough, they'll tell you to get a job. And that's how you end up doing Scarlet Ambassadors. You get a job and you refill your own RU Express. But no, I love RU Express. It's super convenient because you never actually have to carry a wallet or cash around with you. You just have your ID for absolutely everything. Your ID can get you into your dorm, out of your dorm, into a classroom building, into a dining hall, or just get you some food in between class. It's amazing. I absolutely love that. And the fact that stores that like aren't even Rutgers affiliated, like some of the local like businesses on George Street, they also take it. So it's not just for, like for Are You Hungry, Get Your Fat Sandwich, or for like a Rutgers sanctioned pizzeria. They are real local businesses in New Brunswick that will accept RU Express. And I think that's super cool. Yeah. So we're all sold out of trivia questions.
I totally agree.
Yeah,
we can always come up with more trivia questions.
totally can. Go ahead.
Yeah, a nice straightforward question. One of the things that we are very proud about as, Rutgers University is being the birthplace of college football. The first ever college football game happened here on our campus. And we won that first game. So we are the first school to ever win a college football game. So my question is, does anyone know the team that we faced in that first college football game? Who we beat? And if you want bonus points, you can try and guess what the score was of that game too.
Yeah. If you've been here all day, we asked this question this morning. So we're the loyal fans now. Oh, immediately.
Wow. Not only do I see the answer, but I also see the score. Yes, Princeton University was a school that we played and beat in the first college football game ever. And 6-4 was actually the score. It was done a little differently back then. It's pretty hard to get 4 points in a football game these days. But that's the way that it was back in the 1800s. And it's definitely something that we're really proud of as a university.
Yeah, I think it's such a cool fun fact. And the fact that you can walk past the place where it was played is even cooler. Talking about that, my next question is, does anybody know where on what campus that game against Princeton was played? We asked this morning as well, but where was that game played, on which one of our campuses and where? Bush is a great guess because that is where the current athletic fields are. However, it wasn't played on Bush. Hey, there we go. Bunch of people in the chat saying College Avenue. That is correct. The game was played on College Avenue. Yeah, it was played right about where our College Avenue gym is right now, which is across the street from our dining hall, Brower Commons on the College Avenue campus. That's why I say I get to walk past it every single day, and you can, right behind the College Avenue gym. There we go, Michael. Good job. Yeah.
Awesome. So another question that we have for you. So at our Mason Grove School of the Arts, we have some pretty notable alumni who graduated from Rutgers and gone on to do really amazing things. And if you are at all invested in Disney and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there is an Avenger or a character in the universe that is portrayed by an alumni of Rutgers University. It is very relevant these days. That's a little bit of a hint to you. But does anyone know who either the actor or the character that he portrays is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
It's a great question.
So we'll see. Look at that. We can't stump these people today. They're good. That is absolutely correct. Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, played by actor Sebastian Stan, who did graduate from the Rutgers Mason Grove School of the Arts. Just a little fun fact, if anyone's watching, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier right now on Disney Plus, that's him, and he went here.
That is crazy. We have a lot of notable alumni. The actor who played Justin Foley in 13 Reasons Why also graduated from Mason Grove School of the Arts. Jane Krakowski graduated from Rutgers. I love Jane Krakowski. We have so many really cool, notable alumni. I think I might have a question that might stump people or prompt them to Google an answer. I'm a journalism major, so I love to write. I love reading news articles and things like that. We have the second oldest college newspaper in the entire country. Does anybody know the name of our newspaper? It was founded in 1869, so it is a pretty old newspaper and it is still publishing stuff today. Does anybody know the name of it? And if you don't know the name of it, guess. I'd love to hear the guesses. Oh, gosh, I thought I was going to be able to stump everybody with this one. Yes, Michael, Nora, good job. Olivia, yeah, Cole, the correct answer is the Daily Targum. The Daily Targum is our daily on-campus newspaper. We are currently publishing it digitally as well, and I have had the pleasure of writing a few things, and I'm currently in the process of trying to become a seasoned writer for the Daily Targum, and it is super fun. It is it's a great publication. I absolutely love it. I have a lot of friends that write daily for it. They write columns or really, really, really fun articles. One of my friends does weekly food reviews of places in New Brunswick for the Daily Targum, and I absolutely love reading them. So yeah, we got the Daily Targum.
So yeah, we've been diving into a little bit of history here. So we're going to take it way back to the beginning. I have basically two questions in one. Does anyone know A, what year Rutgers University was founded, and B, what the name of Rutgers University was when it was founded? Because we have not always been Rutgers University.
That's true.
But yeah, our year of founding and the name of Rutgers before it was Rutgers. Wow. There it is.
Immediately.
Brooke out there killing it so far in this trivia. It was Queens College, so I do see the answer there. Queens College, yes, that was the original name of Rutgers University. You can actually see some of like the remnants of that over on the old Queens section of our College Avenue campus, one of the most historical areas of our campus, which is still standing today. And the year was 1766, so that is right. We are older than the United States of America. We are one of, I believe, 10 colonial colleges in the nation that are still in existence. So we've been around for quite some time.
Been around a little bit.
Brunswick.
Yeah, I love walking. So the original part of Rutgers, Queens College, is, again, as Sam said, still standing today. You can walk through some of those original, really old buildings, and I've always wanted to go inside somewhere. I know President Holloway's office is in there somewhere, and I really want to like sneak in because it looks so cool on the outside. I love walking through the Queens College portion of campus. It's really, really, really pretty. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Okay. I'm looking to look for a really, really, really good question. Okay, this is some Rutgers trivia. I'm trusting the internet with this one. So we here in New Brunswick, obviously, as you've seen today, have a very, very, very large campus. Can anybody guess how many acres of land Rutgers occupies?
Jeez, I don't even know this one.
We'll take the closest without going over. I didn't know this one either. Trust in this website. Trust in the Rutgers website.
I can't imagine anyone knows this off the top of their head.
All of the land, all of it.
I don't even think I have a concept of how big an acre is. So I got nothing to think.
I don't know how big an acre is either. I see some pretty good guesses. I don't know if I should probably just take them. The correct answer is 2,688. So Madeline with 2,600 plus, you are the closest. Good job. Apparently our campus is spread out across over 2,600 acres of land. This honestly doesn't really surprise me because we have so many different schools, 5 different campuses, countless residence halls and buildings, and our ecological preserve, which is probably a number of acres itself. So yeah, over 2,600 acres of land. And all of that can be your campus. All of that is your campus.
Very impressive. All right, everybody. So we will be wrapping up this session at 3:30. We do want to thank each and every one of you, whether you've been here for every session since the first thing this morning, or you just hopped on now, you came to a few interspersed. We want to thank you so much for coming out today and supporting us and for attending our open house. We hope that you learned a lot about Rutgers University. We are obviously all of the Scarlet ambassadors that were here today, are very passionate about the university. We love this place that we get to call it home. And even personally for me, has really been the experience of a lifetime to be able to come to school here. And I don't regret it at all. Just for further steps, you can start looking into accepting that enrollment. If you really loved what we had to say today, you can start accepting your enrollment, go through the process of the housing application, the placement test, getting everything ready and in order. You'll get access to your enrollment pathway, and that will kind of guide you through the whole process. You can always reach out to us as Scarlet Ambassadors on our live chat that we have running every Monday to Friday on any of our admissions websites. Those are not staffed by robots, they're staffed by us. So you can come and talk to us really at any time throughout the week. Further today, our dance marathon will be happening today as part of a live stream that will be available on the Rutgers On Demand website. Like we mentioned in a few of the sessions, this is the largest philanthropic event in the state of New Jersey. It is something that we as Rutgers students are extremely proud of. So if you want to go check that out, see a little bit more of the Rutgers pride and one of our biggest traditions and events, you can absolutely feel free to do so. But I want to personally wish you the absolute best of luck in your college search, whether you've already committed to Rutgers or you're still considering it. We hope to see you in New Brunswick come the fall. I promise you will not regret it. This is the best school, in my opinion. So,
in my opinion, too. I agree.
So thank you for coming out today, and have a great rest of your weekend.
Bye, everyone.